You're listening to the B4evakool podcast. My name is Rex45. Today we got Nomad on two wheels. I would say in the building, but you're outside.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show, man. How you doing today?
Thank you.
Or this evening?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. Man. I'm just, just like everybody else on the grind. And that's all. That's it.
Nice, nice. I appreciate you taking time out, and I guess for full disclosure, we are family.
Right.
Unfortunately, we had to find out under bad circumstances, but it's nice to have another family member that's on two wheels, and I didn't get a chance to catch up with you last couple of weeks, but let's get caught up today, and let's talk
Yeah,
about
absolutely.
how did you fall in love with the two wheels, man? How did that happen?
Oh, oh, man. Honestly, you know, it just kind of happened. I mean, it started off at a very young age. I was probably 14 years old, and I was watching all the dirt bike races at the time, and I just really, really loved two wheels. And I have no idea where it came from. No one in my family that I know of that was close to me that had a motorcycle. So, but I just kind of fell in love with it on my own. I just started watching, those guys like Ricky Carmichael and all that stuff, and doing all the stunts and tricks, and and watching Crush the Demons of Dirt and all watching, reading those magazines. So
Yeah.
it's and then from there, it went from just eight interests to just a passion. And after my first bike was probably it was an RM 125, Suzuki RM 125. It was like a 1984.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
And
what year did you get the bike?
oh man, I got that back in like 90. Oof, it
Oh
was like
wow.
97,
Okay. Okay.
96. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been some time. So then after that, I got into sport bikes. My first sport bike was a 98 ZX6R.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It's
Yeah.
interesting. My first bike was a '98 ZX6R too.
Oh man, yes, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. When did I get that? I'm trying to think now. Yeah, I got that in. I think in 2001, I got a '98
Nice.
ZX. And so when you got the dirt bike, the Suzuki, were you heading to the track with that? Did you go up in Mass, by the way?
I did.
And were you going to the track, or was you
Yeah,
one of these
so
young
I
guys doing the street riding back then?
no, I was legit. I put it on the back of the truck and towed it to a track or a dirt pit or something and started bombing around. Yeah, I mean, I didn't really ride on the street because it wasn't street legal.
Right.
So I just said, you know what, I'm gonna, because I really wanted to learn how to do like motocross riding at the time. So I was just like, all right, well, I can't do motocross riding in the street, so I got to go to find some dirt to go figure out how to do this stuff.
Hmm.
And I was really, 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 really into it. Yeah.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
And then how did you like the street riding versus the dirt? And did you go back to dirt after getting the street bike?
So once I got a street bike, it just opened up a whole other world of riding. It also opened up a whole other family of riding. Um, I really liked and enjoyed the dirt riding, but there was something about the dirt riding because I didn't have a car at the time, so I always had to borrow a vehicle
Hmm.
to have it towed to somewhere, and it wasn't street legal. I think when I got this, when I got the street bike, it was like I can go wherever the hell I want. I think, and it
Right.
was just my bike,
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and with that, I ended up meeting a lot more people that had street bikes as well. Um, it was a decent transition. I I wasn't mad that I left the dirt world. Did I go back to it? Not until like fast forward till today. So
Right, right, right. Yeah, and
yeah,
we'll get to that.
yeah, yeah,
And then so the street riding and stuff. I mean, it is nice to. I didn't. I didn't. I was fortunate that I had a car to be able to take the race bike to the track and stuff like that. So, and when I was younger, I didn't get into riding until later in life. Even though I had the ZX6R for like a month, sold it, went back to school,
yeah.
and all that stuff. And so 20 plus years later, then I got another street bike, and
Yeah.
it took off from there.
Yeah.
So now with the street riding and did you just? I mean, you pretty much been riding since you had your first Suzuki. You always had a bike,
Right.
and were you doing longer rides? I mean, were you like riding from Mass to New York and stuff like that, or was it mostly in state?
So so the real riding didn't start until I got my R1. So when I got the R1, um, I remember I was riding with some guys, and they were going through like the hills, the Blue Hills, where
Yeah,
like
yeah,
in
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
Randolph area. I don't know if you know that
I know
area.
that
So
area. Houghton Pond.
it's fun, yeah. So they're going through that, and they're like leaving me. I'm like, what is going on? These guys are going around these corners, and I'm just like, what am I doing wrong?
Right, right.
And then I just said, you know what? I'm gonna figure this out. I'm gonna figure out what these guys are doing, how they're riding, how they're able to do what they're doing. Um, and I linked up with the right people. I linked up with the right people, and they taught me.
Nice.
Brought me under their wing and stay on my back tire, and it was just. And then from there, it opened up the racing, and that's how I really got into like wanting to compete and wanting to um to really get out there and race. But it was the thing about racing; it's so expensive. So it's just
Oh, yeah,
it
yeah.
is it is it is not for poor people.
No, it's definitely not, man. It's very and that's the crazy part about it, man. It's just you think about other sports like golf and hockey and some of these sports that are really expensive. Motorcycle
Yeah,
racing is on a different level
yeah,
of expense.
absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because you literally could spend whatever amount of money on a bike and chuck it down the road, and then it's just a
Yeah,
paperweight.
that's right. That's
So
right.
so now when you started going racing and stuff like that, did you go to did you go to Loudon initially, or did you
Yes,
start doing track days, or did you just kind of just jumped right into racing?
I started doing track days, and that was mainly at Loudon. And that was this the trigger effect.
Right.
The only problem was it was just getting a bike that I could race and getting it, a track bike, and that's starting to get into racing
Mm-hmm.
is like it's such an expensive process. And
Yeah.
like once you kind of have stuff and you're good, but I think that's what the one thing that um really deterred me from actually achieving more of a racing experience on being on the track
Yeah.
because of how much it costs. And you know getting your street bike and getting your race ready to be on the track, and then you drop that on the track, and next thing you know you're out like 7 8 months trying to find the money to repair the bike. And I mean, I would have loved to really, really continue into it. But I think the fact that at the time of my life, I didn't have the financial means to actually really keep that going. So,
Right.
and now I see some of my friends who have continued to do it, and see where they are right now and how much they've been racing. And
Right.
so, whatever. At that time, I was just kind of living vicariously through them at the time. So,
Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah, it took. I mean, I was fortunate that one of my buddies was selling his race bike because he built another one, and so that was some saving because just putting the bike together,
yeah,
from the street to the track, and I've done that. I've probably built 3 race bikes now, and
yeah,
it's a lot more expensive to build. I mean, it's fun and
yeah.
and you get to put everything that you want on the bike and all that stuff.
Right,
But when you're a
right.
beginner, if you can, get a 3 grand, because I think I paid like 2,800 bucks.
Yeah.
For it was like a '03 SV 650, but it was
Okay.
plenty to go learn how to race on. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
And I rode that bike from 2013 to 2015. And 2015, I sold it and went with an
Mhm,
R6. Um,
mhm.
but and then I had to build the R6, and so yeah, talking about
Yeah,
the funds, it's
yeah.
it definitely it's not a it's not a broke person sport. I don't matter what age you are.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? It's like if
Agreed.
yeah, if you don't got the money to put into it, it makes it very difficult. And but once you're in it, and you're doing it, man. Like, I hope to do it until I can't move. You know what I mean? Because
Right.
it's
Yeah.
always there's always a challenge. There's always getting over adversity you have to get over and all these things,
Right. Right.
and mentally it makes you a stronger person. Um,
Absolutely.
and a lot of things that you can apply to real world situations. And the racing community, motorcycle community, like like you said earlier, you got around some of the right guys.
Mm.
And the motorcycle community is such a warm, wonderful community.
Yeah.
It's I didn't realize how awesome it was, and until I got there. You know what I mean? And
Right.
you at the
Right.
you in the paddock, you're walking around the track, you're talking to
Hmm.
people. It's just a whole different world. I mean, people give you
Hmm.
parts and for you to go race next to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Definitely.
it's one of those things. So let's talk about how you got to where you are right now. What was the thing that made you decide? And for those who don't know, you are doing Nomad on 2 wheels,
Yeah.
riding around the world.
That's
You know what
right.
I'm saying? So how did that come about? Where did you start? And
Yeah.
where are you now, kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it all started when I took a nice long trip from, I think it's from New York to like South Jersey,
Okay.
and at that time I was on my R1, and I got off. It was probably about a 3.5 4 hour ride, and I said to myself, I got off the bike and I was like, I am hurting right now. Like my body just hurts. My knees hurt, my
Yeah.
elbows hurt, my lower back hurts. Everything hurts. And I was like, I have to ride back. And I was just like, I was thinking to myself, like, oh man, I do not want to ride back, man.
Yeah.
So that kind of sparked something and was like, all right, well, maybe I should get a bit more comfortable bike.
Hmm.
Um, one that I can do a little bit more long distance on. Not to say you can't do long distance on these bikes. You can do long distance on any bike you choose.
Yep.
But if you depends on what your comfort level is, and what you feel is good for you. Um, I definitely wanted to get more comfortable. Let's just put it that way.
Yep.
Um, so I started looking into adventure bikes, like GS, the BMW GSs, the Africa Twins,
Hmm.
10RA 700s. So I started looking into those bikes, just taking a peek into those to that realm, and just seeing what that world was all about. And the thing that intrigued me was that I could do two things, two passions. I have two passions. I have motorcycles is one. The other one is travel.
Okay.
So I can combine those. I can get a travel motorcycle, an adventure motorcycle, and bring it anywhere around the world. Again, you can still bring any motorcycle around the world. It's just what you feel is your comfort. That's just it.
Right.
So, yeah. And then the first bike that I got was an Africa Twin. So the Africa Twin was a great bike. I loved it. I did some off road training,
Hmm.
and that fast forward to now is when I'm more back into the dirt. So I've been a bit more focused on dirt and heavy enduro and things like that. Um, but when I got the Africa Twin, I realized I was doing stuff on the Africa Twin that it can be done, but I was doing things that was beyond my level of with that bike, because it's
Okay.
such a big bike.
Yeah.
So it made me get another bike. So I ended up selling that, and I got a smaller bike, which is the bike I have now, which is a 10RA 700. It's still a bit tall, still a bit of a big bike, but now I can definitely whip it around like it's a big dirt bike.
Gotcha.
And I can also combine touring with it, so I can go on like hardcore trails. Um, I can do single track with it. I've been on dirt bike tracks with it. Um, I've gone up side of mountains with it. So like I've done a lot of shit on that bike, and I've put that bike I've put it through hell. Like
Right.
I've
Right.
literally put that bike through hell. I don't even know how that bike is still running right now. So, um, but I definitely, that's what made me do that transition, because I wanted to explore
Hmm.
and also be on two wheels while I'm
Okay.
exploring.
Wow.
So,
And when did you decide to take this? When did you start the journey? And did you start
oh
en
man,
masse? And how much research did you do
yeah.
before you started?
So actually, so my journey started in March of 2023. So I'm approaching my 2 year mark right now.
Hmm.
Um, and I did start from Mass. So I kind of to say slash Mass slash New York because I was kind of back and forth before I, took off.
Hmm.
But I initially left from Massachusetts. Um, and yeah, and definitely, being on. Oh, sorry. Ah, can we? What are the questions with this again?
How much research did you do?
Okay. Oh, that's it. Sorry. I forgot what the other question was. As far as the amount of research that I did, was a ton of research. So every month, so I've been planning this trip for 2 years before I left,
Okay, wow.
and yeah, it was a while. It was a long time. And every month, what I did was I researched. I took 1 month to research the entire country to research one country.
Okay.
So if it was Mexico, I was like, okay, well, I have a month to research Mexico. That is means border crossings, what that's going to be like, where not to go, is the cartel bad, is
Right.
like what are some dirt roads I can go through, what's the situation with food, what's the situation with water. So I researched a lot in every single country. So that's from Central America, South America, and also Africa. And and to be honest with you, now that I look back on all that research that I've done, I didn't need to research as much. Just put it this way.
It's better. It's better to be over, than under, right?
Yeah. Right. And I have like a journal that has each country and has a page and has everything like wildlife that's there.
Oh wow.
It has like amenities, where I can go, the main cities, um what to avoid in the main cities, what are the scams in all the cities, what like so I was researching a lot. So but the good thing about when you travel and you're on the road, you just learn as you go
Right.
and you end up finding out these things before you even realize that's what you researched. Because I actually researched and wrote all this stuff down, and a lot of it I didn't even look at. I didn't even look at when I was traveling.
Okay.
It was just more about I'd get to an accommodation and they would be like, "Oh, we're gonna go to, I don't know, this attraction today." It's like, "Oh yeah, I'll go." And then if I go back and look at my that what I researched, that's in my log, that's
Oh,
in my
okay.
research. So
All
it's
right.
like, so it was just kind of like I kind of don't really need to really. I can kind of reference this a little bit, but I don't really need it because you're gonna find that information
Right.
as you go,
Right.
anyways.
Yeah.
So
But it's still better to do the research, right?
yeah,
Yeah, not use it.
it is. At least you have a backup. At least you have something to look at and something to say. Okay,
All
I can
right.
go here today. I can go there today. So
Okay. So research. And so how did you decide which countries you're going to go through? Was it more like, okay, these ones are safe, so I'm gonna go through these ones. This one is not so safe, so I'm not gonna do that kind of thing. Or what was that like?
yeah, so I mean, essentially, you know, going from America to Central America and South America, I mean, there really is not much to avoid other than like maybe Venezuela or
Hmm.
Suriname. But I would actually love to go to those countries. I mean, unfortunately, it's a bit more difficult to get into those countries, especially Venezuela as an American.
Hmm.
Um, you can still do it. It's just more difficult to get
Right.
in. So I ended up skipping Venezuela. So that whole east coast of Central of South America, Venezuela, Suriname, um, even like parts of Brazil, I ended up skipping. So, but as far as me trying to figure out what countries I really, really wanted to go to, I mean, it was just more of a straight line,
Okay.
and also Africa was more of the real navigating part of like what country should I go to, what country should I not go to, because Africa it's definitely like out of nowhere civil unrest can happen in a country like right away,
Right. Right.
and I knew that me traveling to Central America and South America there could still be situations in a country that is good today and then tomorrow it's not, so it's the current events can happen very, very quickly in
Right.
in, in Africa. um and it's the same thing that happened to me in Bolivia. So in Bolivia, right before I got to Bolivia, there was unrest, there was protests all over the place. They also, I found out that they don't sell fuel to foreigners, things like that. So it was hard to get fuel.
Wow.
Um, yeah, you just start to find out these things like out of nowhere. They just kind of pop up. And also, the good news is that there's a lot of travel guides and
Hmm.
travel. I would say travel apps
Yep.
that people will report on. So they will get into the country. They'll say, okay, the border crossing here sucks. There's a roadblock here, blah, blah, blah. The date is, December 4th, 2024. And, this is what's happening today.
Right.
So you kind of just base it on that, those apps and things like that. It's called iOverlander. It's a really good, if you're ever into traveling in a vehicle, I highly recommend it. So,
Wow. Um, so when you left Mass, New York, uh, how long did it take you to get to Mexico? How many different states did you stop at?
mm,
Was there a plan like, I'll stay 2 days in a place, or
mhm,
just kind of depending on how you feeling? What was that like?
yeah. So the thing with this is one of the things that I do kind of regret was navigating through the United States. I really do wish I hit the West Coast
Hmm.
of the United States. I wish I hit Arizona. I wish I hit Utah. I wish I hit you know Northern California because the riding. I've been learning that the riding from other travelers of other people. I've been learning that the riding is absolutely amazing.
Hmm.
So with the writing being so great, I missed all that because my goal was to just get to Mexico. And
Right.
the thing
Right.
is, I left in March, so it was still cold. There were still some places that were still super cold. So I had to go south
Right.
towards
Virginia
Georgia, and
to
then
heat.
yeah, Virginia, and then yeah, and then cut across, and then cut across. I ended up cutting across to Arizona, but I
Okay.
didn't get to ride Arizona though.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the thing. I didn't get to ride it. I just kind of went to like Phoenix
Yep.
because I had a friend there that was giving me a place to stay.
Yep.
And from there, I just went straight across Texas, went to LA, and then went down
Okay.
and went into Baja. Yeah, and another reason why I didn't stay too long in the United States because it was very expensive compared to being in Mexico and
Right.
being in Central America. So my whole goal was to allow my money to last.
Right. Right.
And I mean, accommodation, just a motel on the side of the road was like $90 a night. And like if you are in the US and you're from the US, you're like, okay, $89 a night, $60 a night, eh. But when you get into Mexico and you're like $90 a night, that's like a whole mansion for you. Like, it's
Right. Right. Right.
so
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not
So.
you're not going to get cigarette stains on the carpet and stuff. So it's just you get a lot more bang for your buck once you cross the border. So
Okay. Okay. Wow. And how long did it take to get to the border from when you started? Were you traveling for like a month in the U.S. or like a couple of weeks?
yeah,
Or
yeah. So it took a couple weeks because I was just kind of hauling ass, and because I had to go south, it
yeah.
took a little bit longer.
Right.
So I kind of just went south and went towards Louisiana and like yeah, just said, you know what, I'm just gonna haul ass to the United States because it was costing me so much money. Like,
Right.
and the fuel was a lot, and because of the highways, you're just if you're going 85, 90 miles an hour, and like, that just sucks up your gas. And it's like versus being in Mexico where you're just exploring, and you're going like 25 miles an hour at the
Right.
time. So
Right.
it's
Right.
it's so it was just a big, big, big difference in being in the United States versus crossing the border. But it took me about 2 weeks. It took me about 2 weeks, and then I also saw some friends along the way. I had some friends in LA. I had a friend in Arizona. I had a friend in New Orleans.
Okay.
So I stayed with them for like a few days, a couple of days, or whatever. So, but yeah, it took me about 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
And now, did any of that time did you think about turning back before you left the state?
Oof. No, the thing is, like, once I started doing it, in my mind, I was just like, I cannot believe I'm doing this.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I was just like, I couldn't believe that I had left. And the day that I left, it was snowing, and my family was wondering just, my mom, she was just like, it's snowing outside. It's literally snowstorm. And I'm just like, dude, you know
Yeah.
what? I can the streets are still clear. Yeah,
Mhm.
there's a little bit of snow. It's kind of sticking a little bit, but the streets still pretty clear. And just like, you know what? I'm just gonna keep going because this was my day to leave, so I'm leaving today. So, and then once I was on the road and the weather turned nice and warm,
Right.
I was just like, this is it. This is it. I cannot believe that I'm out here on the road doing this. Like, when am I going to end up in South America? When am I going to end up in, in Africa? When am I? So just, it was just, I had all these what ifs.
Right.
I didn't, at that time, I did not have the thought of turning back around. But later on in my travels, I definitely felt like, what am I doing with my
Right. Right.
life?
Right.
You start questioning yourself and your decisions that you made. And especially if you're going through some hard times, which I definitely have. And you just start questioning stuff, and you're just
Right.
wondering, like, what's next?
Got you. And how what was you know what made you push on like in those moments and we'll talk a little bit more because I know your bike, it was, you had to get service and stuff like that now, or you're servicing your bike now and had to get parts from the states while you were here. So what was the thing that says, you know what, I'm not going to I'm just going to keep going?
Um, well, there was the one thing that a friend of mine, before I left, he said to me, he's like, always bet on yourself. And when he said that to me, it stuck with me.
Right.
And
Right.
it's one of those things where, you know, if you do start something, you know, keep going.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Even if times get hard, because times are going to get hard, and that's the thing. They're going to get hard. Like, it's just a matter of when. Shit's gonna suck.
Yep.
And you have to have the the strength to move on and to push through it and to see what's on the other side. Because if you don't, then you'll never know what's over there on the other side. So, um, yeah, I mean, honestly, like, just from just from knowing that there's going to be something good coming out of this, like,
Right.
eventually, I know that this is going to work out. I know that just me having the confidence in, in what I'm doing.
Right. Right.
So, and me having the confidence and believing in myself, because there's no one else that's going to believe in me as much as me. Like, I'm the only one who's going to believe this much in myself.
Correct.
And I don't want to give up. I don't want to give up. Giving up for me is like, it's not an option.
Yep. Yep. No,
Yeah.
I agree with you there, man. I feel the same way. I mean, I think a couple of years ago, I was always, helping someone else, someone else's business, someone else's thing,
Yeah.
and getting the short end of the stick. And finally, I was just kind of like, I'm just going to bet on me. And
Right.
and once I did that, whether win or lose, you can't, it's on you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So at the end
Yeah.
of the day, when somebody else tells you you don't need to come back to work anymore,
Yeah.
and you had
Yeah.
nothing to do with that, that's a tougher pill
Yeah.
to swallow. And
Right.
so I definitely lean on that side of betting on yourself always, because you know what you're capable of doing, and you know that you're not going to give up. You know these things, and other people may or may not know, or may or may not see that. You know what I'm saying? But so now why is it taking you so long to get around the world, man? it's almost 2 years. Let's talk about Mexico,
Oh
and
man.
let's talk about
Oh man.
where you got sidetracked.
Oh wow. Yeah. Yeah. Because put it this way, I was supposed to be in Africa September last year.
Okay.
That was the plan, was to be in Africa September last year. I got to Colombia. Oh my God. Listen, if you haven't been to Colombia, you need to go. Well,
Yeah.
actually, you know what? You might not want to go, because if you do, you're gonna get stuck. It's just like, it just has a vibe. If anyone who's been to Colombia knows exactly what I'm talking about, it just has a vibe. And you get there, and it's just you just yeah, you can, from north to south. I mean, Colombia is absolutely amazing. And
Wow.
I got stuck in Colombia for about 7 months.
Oh man.
Yeah,
And,
yeah, 7 months.
and no one came to rescue
No, okay,
you.
listen, man. They saw the big smile on my face. They were like, "This guy's doing well. He's all right."
Nice, nice. Now, staying in Colombia for 7 months, or staying some of these places. What I mean, I know you're not staying in a hotel every time. So, what's your lodging situation like? And then also just go back to what were the things that you had to bring on the trip versus things you said I can live without.
Mhm. As far as lodging goes, when I was in Colombia, I stayed at a place called Donkey Sunrise. It's a motorcycle hub, and
Okay,
it's literally a bunch of travel motorcycle motorcycle heads,
no
and
kidding.
yeah, it's a really really great place. And you know, I stayed there, yeah, for about 7 8 months, and I helped them with their social
Yeah,
media,
yeah.
and I just kind of doing some volunteering work and helping out stuff like that. So it kind of eased the pain on accommodation at the time.
Right.
So that's pretty much where I was for in Colombia for most of the time. Yeah, and there's a lot of good riding if you'd like to ride dirt, things like that, and road riding. There's a lot of really nice roads, windy roads, things like that. So a lot of twixies. So um, and as far as gear, man, oof, the gear. I have gear trauma. Let's put it that way. um, if you ever venture off on a multi-day tour, multi-day riding adventure, you're always going to pack too much in the beginning.
Yeah.
That's it. You're always going to pack too much. You're always going to pack shit that you don't need. You just don't. You're gonna think you're gonna say, I need this, I might need this, I might
Yeah.
need this, but you just like next thing you know, you're in the trip for 10 days and you haven't even looked at it. So
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
you know, then you start to narrow down like, okay, do I actually really need this? So there's been a lot of things that I brought in the beginning that I've literally just given away. I've
Okay.
given away or I've shipped it back home. Um, right now, the last time I went back to the States, I dropped off a lot of stuff and I also picked up some stuff, but things that I know that I was going to use.
Right.
But generally, you know, in the beginning, you're always going to pack too much, and then you start to kind of narrow down what kind of traveler you are, what kind of motorcycle traveler you are, and once you start narrowing that down, you're like, okay, I need this. I don't need this. I need this creature comfort. You know, if you need like a camping chair, then
Right.
that's fine. I require a camping chair. You know, I'm getting old, so I'm just
Yeah.
like, you know, um, so it just depends on you and what your creature comforts are. But I definitely carry a little bit too much clothes.
Okay.
Yeah, I carry a little bit too much clothes, but that's because I feel like it's because I'm not just traveling, like I'm living. So,
Right.
for instance, like I need clothes to go out because I actually do go out. You know, like I go out on dates.
You're not
So
just in the
like I need,
desert by a
yeah,
cactus plant chilling.
right. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm actually like living a life out on the
Yeah.
road. So
Yeah.
I need
Yeah.
the clothes that, to do stuff and for different things. So,
Okay, that's what's up. So now going from Colombia, did you go to Africa then? And I assume it was a ferry of sorts or a boat of sort. And where did
yeah.
you get dropped off in Africa?
So from Colombia, I kept going down to Ecuador. Ecuador is another place I got stuck in as well. I got stuck there for 3 months. That's a whole nother thing.
You seem to get stuck
That's
a
a whole
lot,
other thing.
man.
Listen, this is the mind I just get distracted. I'm like, oh, look, a shiny thing on the floor. Oh, it's just,
That's it.
um, so from Colombia to Ecuador to Bolivia, Peru. I didn't do Chile. I got to Argentina,
Hmm.
and Argentina, I shipped the bike from Buenos Aires.
Okay.
So Buenos Aires, the main city there, and there's a lot of shipping that goes from there to Cape Town.
Hmm.
Um, and Cape Town, South Africa was really cool, and that's pretty much where I started my Africa journey. So I've been going north since. So I'm in my second country in Africa right now.
Okay.
So yeah.
And let's talk about the language barrier. Were there any in Mexico and South America? Did you do? Were you studying languages before you left as well?
I knew a little bit of Spanish. I mean, from high school, but I don't think it was enough to get me by. But
Hmm.
when I got to Mexico and I got to Guatemala, um, I started to really catch on to a lot of the language a lot more. Um, it also helps if you're seeing other women and you're hanging out with them and they don't speak English.
So that helps.
Yeah, it helps. But yeah, in Guatemala, I actually got a tutor.
Okay.
Started taking classes. So I was taking a course with my tutor for like maybe like 4 or 5 months.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we were doing like an hour, like 4 hours a week or something like that. So it wasn't like intense, but it was, it was enough between me going to doing a class with a tutor
Yeah.
and also communicating with people in the real world.
Yeah.
It was like that was also my training as well, like communicating with people in the real world.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it wasn't just getting class intensive and then I go back to people that speak English to me all day. So
Right.
it's just
Right.
everyone speaking Spanish. So and if you don't speak Spanish when you're in South America and Central America, you can get by. It just makes it a little bit more difficult to communicate. You will be able to communicate. It just makes it a little bit more, and it
Yeah.
can be a little bit more annoying,
Yeah.
like at the
Definitely.
borders and things like that.
Yeah.
So
No, definitely. I remember I went to Amsterdam, the Netherlands, a few years back to go watch a MotoGP race. And
yeah.
you know, in Amsterdam, you can get away with not knowing Dutch. Or,
Mhm.
but like when I went to Groningen, like the Airbnb guy, it took us like 10 minutes just to figure out where I can go park my
Yeah.
car. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
And just even going to the supermarket and stuff like that,
Right.
it was a little
Right.
cumbersome. And so after
Hmm.
that, like, you know, my next trip was to Italy. Then I started learning Italian. I started learning the
Mm.
street sign, well, the traffic signs and stuff. Because in
Yeah.
Amsterdam, I ended up on the train tracks in my car. You know what I'm saying? And
Oh
you know,
man.
it was just yeah, it was like all right, you got to learn something. So
Right.
and I was hoping to go to I'm still hoping to go to Japan, so I started learning some Japanese as well.
Hmm.
Um,
Nice.
but yeah, I found the hard way that yeah, you should prepare a little bit before you just
Right.
land
Yeah.
somewhere and you have no idea what you're doing.
Absolutely. And also, generally when you get to the main cities, you get a lot more people that speak English. But the minute that you go out of that city, the minute that you go into the mountains, the minute that you just move away from that city, all of a sudden no one speaks English.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
they're looking at you and you're looking at them and you're just like, I don't know. You just like but it definitely creates the adventure, I think. And believe it or not, in Africa, people here, I mean, everyone speaks English.
right, right.
So they speak it was almost like English is their first language.
Got you.
Um, and then as you get north, on the west coast, like towards like Ghana and places like that, and they speak French.
Yep, yep.
They start speaking French up there. So, but generally everyone's going to speak English no matter what here.
Right. Yeah. So let's talk about. I know we talked about this when I saw you. You also not only traveling around the world on the bike, but you're also trying to do some races as well. So let's talk a little bit about that because it sounds like you've done a couple
Yeah,
so far.
yeah,
And I see guys in the UK, talk about they just ride their bike to the track and do a track day and ride home.
mm, mm,
It sounds, but you also have your house with you, so
yeah.
so
um,
what made you decide to do that? Add that to the trip, and how has that
mhm.
been?
Yeah. So initially, when I left, a part of the plan was to do a race on every continent. That was the plan. Um, I initially started to get into rally racing, navigation racing,
Hmm.
and I really, really loved it. And I hadn't done it yet before I left. I've been looking for a place in the United States that will teach me how to read um, a navigation road book.
Hmm.
Um, but I couldn't find anywhere that would teach me. So I found a school in Baja that it's like Sonora Rally School or something like that, and they actually will definitely they have a school, then they have a race, and they have all this stuff. So, which is really cool. But unfortunately, as I was going through Mexico, the race season was over, So
Oh,
I planned that really wrong. So the race season was over. I even before I left, I even modified my bike to do races with suspension and front and rear suspension. I also put a rally tower on the bike and
hmm
just geared it for racing as well. Um, so when I missed the races, I just said, okay, I have to find a race somewhere. I don't know where I'm going to race. So I was going to places in Central America and they were just like, go to Mexico. And I was already in like Honduras and already in Panama. And they're like, yeah, you got to go to Mexico. And I was like, fuck, I missed all of, all the racing.
yeah.
So I
You
got
got stuck.
to, yeah, yeah. But then once I flew into South America and I got to Colombia and I got to Ecuador, I
Mhm.
found someone who would train me in Ecuador, and
Okay.
I did some riding, some like road book navigation in Ecuador. Um, and from there, once I learned it and I got better at it, I went to Colombia and I did the Darien Rally race.
Wow.
Um, that was my first race ever. My first road book navigation race. Um, yeah, and it was quite the experience in meeting the people and putting a paper map inside of your road book holder
hmm
and um it was a whole different experience when you do that kind of racing.
Right.
And that kind of racing is like,
I was gonna
go
say,
ahead.
can you talk a little bit more about the rally racing? Like how many miles is the time? Like,
Yeah. So it's all in kilometers. And generally standard the road book. So you get this road book that you would put in a road book holder,
mhm,
right? And it's a scroll map. And on the map there's turns, indications, there's kind of like waypoint things, or there's if there's like church buildings, there's sign of like a, I don't know, a cemetery sign on it, things like that. These are like little things that you have to look for when
mhm,
you're doing this race. And you have a road trip, you get a trip meter, and the trip meter needs to match the road book. So it'll say in zero point 0.3 kilometers, take a left, right? So as you're riding, so you set at 0 when you
mhm.
first start,
Yep.
and as you're riding, when you get to 0.30, you have to take a left, right?
Yeah.
That's how it is. But the thing is, you can make it easier, you can make it very difficult, because it can be very difficult in the deserts. Because
Right.
in the desert, you have to turn at zero point 0.3 kilometers, but you have to be at like, 70 degrees. So now you have to use a compass.
Okay. Oh wow.
Because if you take a left and you're off by a certain degree, and say the next coordinate is, it's like 5 kilometers away. So now you're going 5 kilometers slightly off the coordinate,
Right.
off the degree, and that's gonna make you off centered. But that's in the desert. In the desert, it's like a whole different ballgame. Um, but yeah, it's a whole different type of racing. You're not the fastest guy. Don't try to be the fastest guy. Yeah, of course, it's, speed helps,
Right.
but being the fastest person does not mean anything, because I've had guys blow by me and also blow past the turn that they were supposed to take. So
So yeah,
it's
yeah,
just,
yeah. So wow.
so
Uh,
yeah. So
and
it's
go ahead.
but yeah, and the thing is, it takes a lot of, not knowing, not you really have to trust yourself, because you are alone
Right.
and you are following this map, and you started at 5 o'clock in the morning and you're supposed to finish at 6 o'clock in the afternoon, and you're just like in the middle of nowhere. And when you find out that you're going the wrong way, once you realize you're going the wrong way, you have to turn back around and go to where your like last point is, and
Right.
then start off there, reset your map, reset your trip meter. It's just it's a mind. Oh, it
Yeah.
really does mess with your mind. Then you get brain fatigue
Yeah.
looking at the map for so long. And you're looking at the map for so long, and then you start looking at the numbers, and the numbers don't match the map, and you're just kind of just like, "What the hell? This doesn't make any sense." Even though it's right, it's
Yeah.
correct,
Yeah.
but in
Wow.
your brain, because you have such brain fatigue,
Yeah.
you think that it's something is wrong. You're like, no, 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 something's off. The numbers are off, and it's like, no, the numbers not off. You just So you've been staring at this thing for so long and trying to figure this out that
Right.
now your brain is like dragging. It's really really crazy. Yeah.
And what about the fatigue part of just riding? I mean, does that? I mean, I know we know obviously we know plays a part in it,
Yeah.
but uh, wow. And is it just one day the rally, or is it like multiple days?
Usually it's 2 to 3 days, depending on what rally it is. I think Dakar is the big one,
Yeah,
Dakar
yeah,
rally.
yeah.
And I think that's like 5 or 6 days. I think that's a really intense one. Um, yeah, and you're out there by yourself, and you have to get ready for the next day. So that's why it's important for you to actually finish and to not get lost.
Yeah.
Because then when you get lost and you're stuck out there, and then you got to come back. If you come back late, say if you come back at 12 o'clock at night, then you got to get back up at 4 o'clock in the morning and start the next day again at 5 o'clock. So it's just like now you're doing it on no sleep.
Right.
So it's just like that. It's just like good luck, you know.
And this is what you think is fun.
I love it, man. I love it. And to be honest with you, I've been doing it and I do love it.
Yeah.
Um, but now I started getting into enduro racing,
Okay.
and that's like intense.
Uh,
That is that is
what's the
enduro
difference?
racing. So enduro racing is like riding up a cliff,
Okay.
literally
Yeah,
up a
yeah,
cliff.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's so so my next journey is riding from South Africa up the west coast of Africa, go through Morocco into Spain, Portugal, right across Portugal, and race in the Red Bull Romaniacs.
Okay.
So the Red Bull Romaniacs is one of the, or if not the toughest enduro race in the world. And it's broken down in classes. It's like you have the A class, sorry, gold, silver, bronze, iron, and they just added another class, which is the adventure class, which is
Okay.
why I decided to
Yeah, yeah.
race in it. So it's for bigger bikes like mine. Um, but oh wow, flies! So many flies, man.
Yeah.
Jeez. Um, but yeah, so there's and normally, that race, it's like in the gold class could be 100 people and only like 15 people finish.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and that's also 5 day. It's a 5 day race.
Wow. So it takes out a
Yeah,
lot of people.
yeah. So most people, I mean, it's a once in a lifetime race, and I think I can't wait to do it.
Wow. And when is that?
That's going to be July 21st is the first race,
Okay.
the
All right.
first day.
So
Yeah,
on a
and
little.
so I have some time to get there.
All right.
So
All right. Hopefully,
yeah,
you don't get stuck anywhere else
yeah.
along you need to. So let's talk about Africa, man. And you said you landed in it was it Cape Town.
Hmm. Yep, yep.
And what's that been like? How long you been in Africa now? And how many countries have you gone through so far?
So I've been here for about. I got here in what are we? September. So like September 1st, I
Hmm.
think. October, November, December. Yeah. So September 1st. So I was in South Africa for a bit, explored it a little bit, um, and then went to Namibia. Now that I'm in Namibia, this is my second country in Africa right now.
Hmm.
And being in Namibia, I love it. The riding here is incredible. The deserts, the just like dirt roads everywhere. Um, it's just an incredible ride. It's very remote.
Hmm.
Like you could be in an area where you could be in an area where you won't see anyone for like 9 hours. Like it's just you'll
Wow.
have no cars passing by you.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. It can be you can get pretty remote out here.
Okay. And
Yeah,
no, go ahead.
as you get out of the city, it just starts to become just dirt roads.
Dirt
Yeah,
roads. And
yeah.
same thing. I assume you're using a map. And like, what's? I know you mentioned like in South America, in certain countries, you're having trouble getting fuel as far as they don't sell to Americans. Like, how do you plan your travels around fuel and maybe the next place you're gonna rest your head?
Yeah, that's a really good question because honestly, navigating these roads and not knowing where you're going to go, not knowing where you're going to sleep, not knowing where to get gas, yeah, not knowing what the road conditions are, can be very, very daunting. It can be very, very uh, a lot on the mind.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, we have technology that really helps us. And one app that I really use that every probably traveler, moto traveler uses is called iOverlander.
Mm-hmm.
And iOverlander gives you everything you need to know:
Okay.
campsites, hostels, hotels, danger points. It gives you where to get fuel. If the fuel station is actually broke, you can find a fuel station on Google Maps and you get there and there's like no pumps.
Oh wow.
So
Yeah,
like
yeah,
yeah, and
yeah.
it's like you think you're saved, like, oh, I finally found one, and you get there and it's just like there's nothing there. So you'll find that on iOverlander it'll tell you like, yeah, don't go there because they won't be there. So iOverlander has really, really helped me out big time. Absolutely. That's I use that quite a bit. And I also use Gaia Maps.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Gaia gives me like mountain ranges. It gives me like small secondary and third roads, D roads, things like that. So I try to stay off of the big paved roads.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just for because of fuel or
More for adventure.
okay.
I've been in some really remote areas, especially in Peru, where like I'm next to an iceberg.
Oh wow.
Like it's just like you really can get into some really, really remote areas in some of these countries, and that's pretty much what I seek. When
Okay.
I'm on the road, I try to stay off that long paved roads because they become very boring at
Right,
times.
right. Yep.
So I just find where is there a mountain, where is there a high mountain range, where is there, a small tiny little village, where's this? So like I try to find it that way. Or national parks here in South America and in Africa. There's a lot of national parks,
Mm-hmm.
so you can really ride through some national parks, and there's camping everywhere, absolutely everywhere. So Africa is a big camping country. I mean continent,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
very big. Yeah.
Oh man, that's pretty amazing. I hope to do that one day. I'll probably have a van behind me with the the
I'll
jacuzzi and
support
everything and
support
all
team.
that and all that. Just just for my old bones, man.
Yeah.
Wow. So so far, I mean, and what would you say is when would you call the trip completed? When you get back to Mass? After do you how far? I mean, yeah. What would you call? When are you gonna be done?
Yes. So I think honestly, I cannot answer that question, um, because this trip was only supposed to be like a year,
Right.
and here I am. It's 2 years now, and I know myself. I know that if I see something I like, if I'm not afraid to go down that road, find that path,
Right.
create a new path. And I've definitely created a new path in regards to getting to the Romaniacs.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't on the list. Racing was on the list, but the hardest enduro race in the world was not on the list.
Yeah.
So, uh, after the Romaniacs, I do want to kind of get settled, and I want to actually start my career,
Mm-hmm.
which will be riding, doing tours around the world,
Okay.
and also like do leading expeditions around the world, and also doing like off-road skills instructor, doing seminars and telling people, giving information on like travel and packing and things
Right.
like
Right.
that. And that that is my goal at the end of all this. And I don't think I'll ever stop traveling on a bike.
Right.
Maybe this trip will be a bit toned down a little bit. Like I probably won't be. I don't know. I could get to Romania. I can say, I'm going to go to Asia. I'm going
Right.
to go through
Right.
Turkey and go to Georgia or something. I don't know. You just never know. This is why I can't necessarily answer that question, but I
Right.
can.
Right.
I do know that I would love to. Be a tour guide and to also be to lead excursions around the world and things like that. So, and possibly one day have my own company,
Right.
that kind of thing. So definitely, like that's the goal. That is the goal.
I think based on what you've been doing so far, man, I think you're gonna make that goal.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the finance a little bit. For people that's trying to do what you're doing, I see you with the you got the Revit jersey on. What's life been like from the finance standpoint, and how you making how you able to pay whatever you need to pay.
Right. Right. Well, so I mean, starting a trip, I had a business in New York. I had a boxing business. I had a boxing gym. I was a boxing coach. So I ended up selling that and just saving my money. And plus, I was also saving my money because I knew that I was going on this travel. So I saved my money for like 2.5 years. So those funds have been helping me a lot,
Mm-hmm.
with the travels. But obviously, money runs out. You can't rely on just your savings. It lasted me. It's lasted me quite a bit, but I'm getting to the end of it. I'm definitely getting to the end of it. If not, I'm pretty much at the end of it. Um, but I've been getting a lot of support from a lot of friends, a lot of family, and I have a Patreon that does okay. I do like small digital nomad things, like try to do stuff like AI training, and they pay you like $15 an hour, things like that. So
Yeah.
those little small jobs do kind of go a long way. Um, I mean, for this next goal, for the Romaniacs goal, it's going to be quite tough for me to, because it's not a cheap race.
Right.
The registration is like 200, is like $2,500. And then you need to get like a support team, and then you have to get tires, and you have to get all this. So, like you said, racing is not, cheap.
Right.
So,
Right.
um, this is why I decided to do a crowd fund for this particular thing that I'm doing, getting to the race.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not too sure if I want to say that I might be the only person who's ridden their motorcycle from New York through Central America, through South America, shipped it to Africa, do the east side of Africa, come down and go around, do the west side of Africa into Europe, and go across Europe
Yeah.
and race that particular bike in the Red Bull Romaniacs race.
That's gotta be
So,
pretty dope.
so I think I'm onto something. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
just I think but the finances, that's a whole nother thing. I mean,
Whole nother business.
yeah, yeah, and depending on how you travel.
Yep.
If you're someone who likes your creature comfort of sleeping in a hotel every night, that is going to add up. And that's why I said like $80-$90 a night is like way too much.
Right. Right.
My budget for accommodation is like $15 a night.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and then I go to the store and go to the grocery store and buy some food for like another $10.
Wow.
And then that's my budget would be $30 a day, and then
Right.
or like if I have to get gas or something, like, and I try to tone down on the gas and not to beat the throttle up as much as possible. So that's just very difficult to do, but
Oh yeah, man. I can imagine. Tell people how they can your Patreon and your what is it? What you said? GoFundMe or
yes, you go
yeah.
find me. Yeah,
Tell people how they can
yeah.
find all that,
Yeah,
bro.
so absolutely. So my Patreon is NomadOn2wheels. Yeah, it's the Patreon is kind of like a more personal, kind of behind the scenes, like what's really going on with everything. Because what you see on my Instagram is kind of just me creating a video and putting it out there and thinking, okay, here I am in Namibia doing this, and you know, um, that's kind of all you get.
Right.
And then I have my YouTube channel, which my new YouTube channel. Um, so I've had my YouTube channel the entire time, but it's been a bit of a challenge. YouTube is tough. So revamping my YouTube channel, probably starting on Monday,
Hmm.
to show my process of getting to Romaniacs, getting to Africa, and getting to Romaniacs. Then I have my GoFundMe, which is support, just helping me get to Romaniacs. So
Right.
that is the key thing, is like me getting to Romaniacs right now. Um, and I have friends and family who support, but I also would love support from the motorcycle community, also to show people that if you have a goal in mind that people would say, oh, that's too difficult, or you can't use that bike or
Right.
whatever. Like you can still do it. Like my whole thing is like you can still, figure out a way to get there. You can still, follow your dream. Don't keep chasing your dream. I would say it's more of like act on your dream,
Yeah.
like really, really, because people, you can have dreams and keep like imagining your dream and chasing that dream.
Right.
But if you're not being consistent enough to act on it and to actually find a way to get that dream, it's like, it's so, but yeah, that's kind of my goal is to really show people that, you can do this, it can be done.
Right.
So,
That's what's up, man. I can talk motorcycles forever. But I'm gonna wrap up. And I hope to have you back on to see how things are going because I mean it's pretty cool. And I mean you must be a different person today than when you first started.
absolutely, absolutely, it changes you, man. It changes you. Like, it really, when you do long distance travel, when you go to these countries and you get tested. Your patience get tested. Like it's like, especially coming from the states, and come from the states, and you're used to everything just being like boom, boom, boom,
Right,
boom, boom.
right,
But yeah, when you get to these places, like no one cares. They're just like, listen, you're gonna get it when we give it to you. So it's just like, um, so it really tests your patience, and it humbles you.
right.
It really humbles you, and you see people, in certain situations, and you're just like, wow, this is interesting. You know, um, but yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot, I've experienced quite a bit, and it's just been honestly since then, since I've been on the road, it's been absolutely incredible.
All right, man. Well, thanks for coming on. And how can people find you on IG and all the other social
Yeah,
media platforms?
yeah, it's all Nomad on two wheels. It's going to be Nomad on number two wheels.
Okay.
So, and it's all one word. So that's the thing. People kind of make it different words and they space it out. It's
Yeah.
all one word.
All one word.
Yeah. So that's everything. That's my YouTube. That's my Patreon. That's my Instagram. That's the GoFundMe. So all that is all Nomad on two wheels.
All right, man. Well, thanks for coming on. Nomad on two
Yeah.
wheels. Peace.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me. Later, man.
No problem.